On today's episode of Empowering Women in Real Estate, the podcast, we're going to be talking about the referral-first mindset, building a business that comes to you. Hi, I'm Karen Cooper, a wife, mom of three, real estate broker, team owner, and founder of Empowering Women in Real Estate. As a realtor, I've personally helped well over 700 families in my career, and now I help thousands of women from all across the country balance real life and real estate through daily inspiration, motivation, and actionable plans to increase their success. Listen in as I share stories and tips from my life and business and interview some of my favorite people. Hi there, I'm glad you're here for today's episode. So, I have been an agent who does business by referral since very, very early in my career. And it was when I first started my real estate career 23 years ago. I was on one of those very traditional Rainmaker teams. And our team leader, she produced a ton of business through a lot of different ways. And a lot of our business was by referral. So I was very fortunate to learn this from her. She also introduced me to Brian Buffini in the very beginning. And so, of course, he is all about doing business by referral. And so much of what I have learned, the systems that I still have, the practices that I still have really come from what I have learned from him as well. And, here's the thing, and I've never understood this, but I almost feel like sometimes doing business by referral, there's a couple things. One is I don't think people understand it. I don't think they really understand what that means. I'm talking about other agents. But also, I almost feel like in the industry, it's almost looked down on. And I think the reason why is because doing business by referral is a little more nuanced. And when you're doing business by referral, really the efforts that you are doing, the nurturing that you're doing, the marketing that you're doing, it's all designed so that the business comes to you. And I think for a lot of people, that's really uncomfortable. And a lot of people feel like they have to make things happen, right? And if I can go buy a lead, or if I can go, sit an open house, and I'm not saying don't do those things. I'm just saying like some examples, right? Cold calling, circle prospecting, door knocking, that is all active things. I think a lot of times we as agents view doing business by referral as passive because the business comes to you. But actually that's not true, because the business is only going to come to you if you set yourself up for success from the beginning. And if you are doing what it takes so that business can come to you, because there's actually a lot of active things that you need to do for business to come to you. And, for me, I have found it is the best way to do business. It is the way that makes the most sense to me. I am not somebody who likes to chase. I have a busy life. I know you have a busy life. I don't have time to call people for hours every day. I would rather do my efforts, my prospecting efforts, my nurturing efforts, once a week, once a month, that then result in business coming to me. It's easier. The leads are warmer. And I think a lot of agents, though, they don't understand it, and they don't think it's easier, because it seems like, and I was talking to my partner about this recently, because I think sometimes when you talk about doing business by referral, it's harder to understand. It's harder to systematize it. It's harder for people to teach it. Like, they can teach you a system to buy this list, make these calls, set up this many drip emails, this many drip texts, right? That's a system that somebody can teach you and kind of replicate. But what you do to nurture business and to market when you're doing business by referral, it's more nuanced. And yeah, there is a system. Actually, I have a system. It's exactly what I teach in our Empowering Women in Real Estate Inner Circle. You can find out all about all of that on my website. It's empoweringwomeninrealestate.com. That program's been around now for more than 6 years. I have systematized what I do to do business by referral. And it is systematized and it is systematizable. But the thing is, it is also, sometimes I think people can feel like they feel like they need to be doing more. And because it's a lot of seed planting, right? And the day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit, or, or the day that you harvest. And so there is a longer term perspective that is required. And, I think when you can kind of shift your mindset in that way, that, you are in this for the long term. I've been building a real estate business for 23 years. You are building a business that is going to stand the test of time. And in order to do that, you can't do that based on things that you do today and give you results today, which, by the way, I don't know anything that will give you that. But you have to be doing things today, and then doing things tomorrow, and then doing things the next day, and then the next week, and the next month, and those things compound. And this, that snowball effect, right? And you get momentum, and then it comes naturally. And that is what I have done my entire career. And it's so doable, and it's so sustainable, and it's so consistent. Those are the things that I talk about in my business all the time. As long as you work it consistently, right? You have to do your prospecting consistently. You have to nurture consistently. You have to be proactive about building your database and updating your database and doing refreshes periodically throughout the year to make sure that everything is current. Like, there's a lot of, you need to show up on social media. There's a lot of different things that you do that are very proactive things that will bring in those results. And so, I think especially when the markets get challenging is when, doing business by referrals really matter more than ever. I mean, they are truly the warmest and the most cost-effective lead source that you will ever come about. I did some math last year, and I spend to market in my business about $20,000 per year. And I generate $400,000 to $500,000 in commission every year. And that's gross commission, of course, but that's a huge return. And I don't know of many other things that you can do where you can spend that little to get that much. And, a lot of my budget comes from postcards I send to my geographic farm. I send them to my entire zip code, which is like 2,500 postal addresses. Plus I add on about, 300 or so people that are like my top people in my database that don't live in my zip code. And so obviously that's a big portion of my budget. If you took the postcards out of my budget, my marketing budget is tiny. It's tiny, but it gives big results. The thing that I love about referrals is that trust is already kind of built in. You don't have to sell yourself. I can't stand a hard sell. I don't like a hard sell when I'm buying something. I don't like a hard sell when I am trying to help someone. It's not my style. It's not my nature. It's a turnoff to me. And I don't have to sell myself aggressively because the trust is already built in. Somebody I've done business with before, someone they trust has referred me. So now that trust is kind of transferred to me and they trust me as well. And the great benefit of generating referrals to run your real estate business is it really creates consistency in your business across all seasons. There are seasons of our business where maybe spring is a little busier than fall or summer or whatever. There are some natural fluctuations, but I find that in doing business this way, when I'm only chasing the hot lead that's ready to do something right now, it gives some consistency, and I have a consistent flow of business. I literally have not missed a month without a commission that I've generated, right? Whether somebody in my team has served it or, I served it myself previously, in probably 15 years. That's a lot of consistency. That's a whole lot of consistency, and it all comes from this.
Tickets are now available for our 5th annual Empowering Women in Real Estate Conference. Every year, hundreds of women from all across the country gather for a day full of inspiration, motivation, connection, and learning. I know you're going to walk away from this event feeling excited, rejuvenated, and ready to move forward in your business. Our event is on October 7th in Ashburn, Virginia. You can get all of the details on our website. Go to empoweringwomeninrealestate.com and click on the conference.
One of the big differences between having like a referral first mindset versus a hustle first, the energy is completely different. And the hustle first is it's chasing the leads, it's cold calling, it's buying leads, it's that constant grind. Nobody wants that. I don't want that. You probably don't want that. That's not fun. That's not interesting. There are other things in my life that I want to do that aren't those things. But when you're talking about referral first, it's building authentic relationships and then letting your network generate those leads for you. And that is so powerful. Now, here's the thing I want to say about that. Because I am very much an introvert. I very much consider myself an introvert. So I think a lot of times when agents are resistant, and I know many agents like this, agents that are resistant to doing business this way, like building relationships, getting referrals, is because they think they have to go to parties, they have to go to dinner and lunches with their clients, they have to go to constant coffees, they have to go to happy hours. I don't do any of those things. I don't like any of those things. I've been in business for 23 years. I personally have sold many hundreds of homes. And I could count on less than one hand the number of times I have sat down and had a meal with a client. You can build relationships without socializing. Relationships and socializing are two different things. They don't have to be the same. And I think that's a hang up that some people have. I think also, the sustainability, it just happened to me this week. Just yesterday, I had a client who reached out of the blue. Now, this is a client that I have stayed in touch with through my gentle nurture systems. He gets my email newsletter every month. I'm pretty sure he's on my postcard list. So he gets my postcard every month, and he gets my, holiday card with my calendar magnet every year. And from time to time, occasionally, I have sent him an invite to like our Thanksgiving pie event. I have, maybe sent him a pop by mailer or a pop pie, but it's actually been years since I've done those things because he never responded to anything, has not responded to anything. It's been years since I put this man in the house. It's been probably 16, 17 years since I sold his house. I don't even remember where that house was. And I helped him to buy a house. I do remember where that house was. And out of the blue, he called me yesterday and he's starting to make plans now, looking at his next steps. He needs to sell that house and he's right and buy a new one. And that just all came from just that consistent, gentle nurturing. And that just happens again and again and again. Here's the other thing with having a referral first mindset. And this is a shift, I think, for a lot of people. You need to view everyone you know as part of your potential referral network, not just your past clients. And I see new agents make this mistake all the time. And I made this mistake. I thought that the only people I should put in my database, the only people I should be following up with are people who are likely going to buy or sell a house this year. But that is the wrong way to think. Everyone you know needs to go in your database. And it doesn't matter if they just bought a house last month or if they've been in their house for 30 years and they're not going anywhere and it's their forever home. They know people. And when you can make sure that they know that this is what you do and that you are eager for and willing to serve their referrals, they will refer business to you. One of my best clients, he referred, and this is no lie, he referred at least 15 to 20 people that closed. I mean, there were even more than that, but 15 to 20 that actually closed over the course of like 5 or 6 years before he ever did a transaction with me himself. It doesn't matter. It's not about that one person's transaction. It's who do they know and who can they refer you to? And that's really where that power is. I think when you can also focusing on it, I'm a big deep versus wide person, focusing on those quality relationships, that gives you a lot more results than chasing big volume, right? Because every one person, they could easily refer multiple people to you every single year. So you don't need 1,000 people in your database that maybe will transact with you. You need, 25 great people that each will refer multiple people to you, and you're going to get there much faster and further. I also find that for me, making referrals a part of my daily routine is critical. If you've ever heard me talk about my prospecting, and in fact, I did a whole series of stories about it recently, and I saved it on my profile on Instagram. I'm at karen.w.cooper. It's called Prospecting. And one of my prospecting habits that I've had for a good gosh, a good 10 years now that I've tracked it. I mean, I've done it longer than that, but I've tracked it for 10 years. And that is me giving a certain number of referrals, because it's the energy, right? That energy of the generosity. When I am in that energy of giving referrals, then referrals just happen to naturally find their way back to me. And so when you can shift your mindset that way, and instead of, oh my God, I got to have a referral today, I need somebody to refer me today, it's like, who can I refer? Who can I help? What business can I promote? And it is an energy shift that will change everything about what you do. And so make that part of your goal. My goal is to give 4 referrals every week. And I always, and in fact, I usually am terrible at tracking them beyond the first 4, because I give a lot more than that. But for me, it's,
you kind of get into that mindset and that energy. And so I become the resource of the resource. And so people reach out to me for referrals. And so it's just this consistent kind of energetic flow of referrals going back and forth. And so that is just like, I'm always looking for opportunities to refer, whether it's my vendor partners, whether it's agents on my team, agents in my network. I'm always looking for those opportunities, and having a system around it is really, really critical. And then I think that, sort of one little tidbit that I will offer you when it comes to this is referrals don't happen by accident. They truly are a byproduct of consistent, intentional relationship building and becoming that go-to, right? That go-to resource, that go-to connector. If you never utter the word real estate, if you never let people know consistently what you do, if you never give any referrals yourself, well, then you're probably not going to get any. But when you can make it a part of what you do, it's a part of your prospecting, it's a part of your marketing, then it will start to come. And the really beautiful thing about it is, it brings more joy. You're working with people that you already know, like, and trust you, or people that they know, like, and trust, which then kind of, transfers over to you. You don't have to rely on cold tactics like door knocking and cold calling. I've never done that. That's just so not part of me, who I am and what's authentic to me. And then ultimately you have a business that just feels lighter. It feels lighter. It feels more natural, and it actually comes to you. And that's a pretty beautiful thing. So if you have not been a fan of referral first business, building a referral first business, I hope that maybe this has changed your mind a little bit. If you are already somebody who loves getting referrals and giving referrals, then I hope that this maybe reaffirmed some things for you and maybe even gave you a few little ideas. So until next time, stay well.
Thank you for listening to Empowering Women in Real Estate, the podcast. Click subscribe to be notified every Wednesday when our latest episode is released, and be sure to check out our group on Facebook.